you guys, Lacey Lee Elliott here. I know the title of today's episode is a little weird. My personal, unique, individual opinions of the 2020 Jeep Gladiator Mojave trim. But the reason for this is because a couple weeks ago, I posted a video that was titled, "Why I Personally Do Not Trust the Media." And I've gotten a little bit of backlash from some other journalists because even though I had intended to come across as giving opinions, it seemed to paint journalism as a whole with kind of a bad brush, and that was not my intention. My intention on that video, as well as today's video, is to give you guys information coming from my unique experiences, from the box that I've been in as an automotive journalist for the last 17 years, from how I see the world, the paradigm of the landscape around me, and just from me. Now, there are some bad journalists out there, but there are also some good journalists out there. And I know part of the negativity that I've been seeing is that certain people are saying that the media is controlling us and brainwashing us, and that is not at all what I'm talking about. Last week, the other video as well as this video is merely to tell you guys to start paying attention to where you get your information and be a little bit more conscious of the information that you are consuming. Now, for example, as an automotive journalist in the last couple of years, if I was asked to do a written, non-sponsored piece, I was getting paid between $300 and $500. Now, I don't know what other journalists were getting paid. This was, again, my unique experience. This was my realm and what I was getting paid. So between $300 and $500, depending on the length of the article, if I had photos or videos, etc. When I kind of went into influencing, there were opportunities that I had to do sponsored pieces, and they were paying over $1,000. Now, when you talk about good versus bad, this is also a bit of a gray area. I don't think that certain people are intentionally trying to deceive you, but as a journalist, for example, if I can make $300 to $500 Canadian to do a review, or I could potentially do a sponsored piece for $1,000, $2,000, maybe even $5,000. If I have a mortgage to pay and kids to feed, I'm going to consider an option that pays a lot more money. Now, unfortunately, sponsored pieces, paid review pieces aren't always effectively communicated to the public. So again, this is just a piece to say to you, pay attention to the ads you're seeing. Pay attention to the reviews that people like me are giving you. Again, I didn't mean to paint all journalists with one big paintbrush, but I just want to encourage anybody watching this video that you just be more aware of how you are gathering the information that you have in your life. Now, this week, I have one of my all-time favorite vehicles. You can hear the gunshots in the background. I rallied up a couple of my friends. It is a little rainy, but thought this would be a good opportunity to see what this vehicle is capable of doing in some more rugged terrain. Now, just a bit of a caveat, you guys. I am no off-road expert. I really am someone who has just been in love with Jeeps since I got into my first TJ about 20 years ago. And just think that as someone who owns a travel trailer, having a Gladiator that the top comes off, the roof comes off, the doors come off, you've got a truck bed, and you can tow up. I don't know why you'd want to own any other vehicle. I love it. The signature feature on this Mojave Gladiator is the upgraded Fox suspension. This is the first desert rated Jeep available, and I know a lot of you are going to want to know, how exactly does this compare to the trail rated Rubicon?
This desert rated Gladiator has a better approach and breakover angle, mostly because it has a little bit more ground clearance. Add this to the fact that you can electronically lock the rear differential even in 4 high range, and You can drive faster in 4-low than any other Jeep. I think Canadians will really like this Gladiator. FCA's Pedestar 3.6-liter V6 with 285 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque is adequate. Now there is a manual transmission available, which I think might be preferred if you are going to be doing a lot of off-roading, but I really enjoyed the smooth 8-speed automatic.
Okay, a long day. It's dark in here. I just dropped off my friends and realized that I didn't actually get a chance to tell you guys what I like and don't really like about this Jeep Gladiator in the Mojave trim. First of all, I gotta be honest, I really do like the styling. I love the fact that Jeep took everything we love about Jeep, all of the styling cues that make it so iconic, and basically just stuck a truck on the back. I know people said it doesn't look right, but personally, I love it. Some of the really small touches and features that they thought of on this Jeep really stick out. For example, you have the tools that you need to remove the hardtop right in the glove box, and there is a little spot underneath of the rear passenger seat that stores all of the screws once you take everything out, so you don't lose anything. A small detail, but you know what? It makes a big difference. The Mojave branded suspension on this Jeep is impressive. In fact, I have to agree that other journalists have said that this suspension has possibly delivered the best, most comfortable suspension on a Wrangler for off-roading in Jeep's entire 80-year history. I really had to search for some things that I didn't like about this Gladiator, but you know what? There's no perfect vehicle out there, honestly. And I'm gonna say the first thing that's a bit of a complaint is that on the highway, the interior is noisy. You can hear the road and the wind noise inside of the cabin. But you know what? Again, this is an off-road vehicle. You're not buying this because you need it to be quiet and serene. So overall, it's not a complaint, but it is something that you might want to take into consideration if you are going to be doing a lot of highway driving, and that might be important for you. Now, the last piece of this is the price. The Mojave trim that I have tested with all of the safety features and additional equipment comes to about 75,000 Canadian dollars. But really, the feeling of freedom that you get when you're driving a Jeep with the top off and the doors off, and the sense of adventure that you get from a truck, you really can't put a price tag on that, can you? It's a Jeep and a truck. What's not to love?